我就对的。这里去了你多你走路到这边这里，你给查住，去对我的干嘛修小不多，也是帮我不要让这打嘴巴，我让这垃圾对这个的米粒给吞到。你要怎么样这节奏有难度，让人没事去那边，不是样这修就当，这里。你要在纽约市3年培训练做的，估计我在那马培训了，我估计你要在那选择对世界前面的这里不做熟悉，多么的这里当部的有时候筹备估计我对这个是没给路费的，他们都不想那个。的别电视媒体的天多，有时候网球的节目，越大那个那些包，LOGA让这拉这边，那些包我们用的，书包那边印度让他上了，赶紧直接给人家拿去，他们去处理。不是呢。除了你多你抓住到你的建议应该，其实操作准备有咱们了，我想阿里过多，你就不要让这打嘴巴落个让这，这些把空气电器，那这就平常多，为这个区别，这到各个区别多，开营所全部当消息，让你这边路做。全面推行各项的设备模式，和让这人民朋友就是这把是那个多年，故说今年的学情超过200个来年程度，将别多和米粒的让我让这个程度，让你每次那年在当中所有的应该为一最多吧，这个学生联做的原呢，老板全部在人家口头学校嘛是。这些当把空的人对呢，牛头猪八当，当把空，起码点出他们国邦当，爸爸这里是的有些多，多年牛头给了买了水果当，这些当把空的那们必须的，感觉逻辑，对这用来本身人家水果人，当把空的时间民众，他们出垃圾是下月月的应该多，他们让我用手做的，要让这。说完了，今年中华一边，你们体力呢从争取手帮用作，我在自己那个给他，我做了，然后让这没办法的，让这有的，说什么的，提出那个我做多少几个今年不要让这个切入， Legu Beata, Ranzen Geseto, Chalia Naru, She Lani Temujani, Shujuyi, She so Shezin, Tashishi, Shana Dubar Tinju, Pemi Shuma, Shiger Yone, Goban, Gonja, Non Gugelda, Navardo, Vegasunilato, Sagi Gule, Somi Yone, Tamba Fogis, Shenzhen, Mimi, Nambu, Tota Chili, Ranzen, Tabjugi, Levi, Nadian Habe, Nishu, Temba, YouTube, Peju, She, Taman, Sijuna, Taleda, Che, Vegasunilato, Gijab, Gilekane, Pejalo, Nido Jada, Nasu Nasum, Chilo Nido Nisaru, Tawadi, Sesu. Zilim Shibadi, New the New Jersey, Sunny Pegushulazo, the Toto, Jabe Chosa Lane, the ring in Libida Jesusian Anjo. Kawa Kanzin Lage, Haja Cheresig Namdo, Chide, me to the chamber. Gona Pimion, Yetami, and Kobini, Tino for the Jungle Chambercho, Ube, Tenda Latinamla, Kusum Kuachembe, Pujanga to Pibetoni, Pujagata, Merikicheto, Chibi, Luso Lonzo, Ledo Nange. Gaji, Power of Famo, Hadayan, Gay Zangando, Yawa Miuda, Yashimbi, Shishu Pimunam, Jesus Tempetoni, Kiri New York and New Jersey, Sunny Pigeon Lanzaki, Godishivi, Shigachivi, Kubigi, Legu, Dito, Pebe, Pigeon Lanzaki, Ujika. Killegagi, Igisuba, Tudula Lacho, Hana Simbe, Pimima, Chidi Subatan, Fishing Lanzaki, Igi, Soto Suba, Jimmy Lacho, Hana Simbe, Pigayon, RANGZENS'S, Ujikap Soto, Jimmy Ujelacho, Hana Simbe. Shunzaki Yakov Saniki Gilisuba Indung Tindilacho Tana Chimbe Pirichitis New York, New Jersey, Piki Piminanzaki, Sozo Ube Shigachivi, Ligu Dito Pebe New York and New Jersey, Sunny Mimang Samalola. Kiringi Legudi Pigube Kimzi did the Kodo Shiva Shisungi Tamni Yamdi Jazoki Dinando, Puranze Tazaba Ranze Lovalabi, Rangi Chibi, Lusolonze, Ledo Nancy, Pujagata, Miriki Chedo, Ledo Nare, Ani number to Samola Shezilla, Teringazuki della Ligi Digitola, Ani Tamsi Nangi. 다 망고진 가지고 되게 쉬셔요. 담시 나게 되게 쉬고백이 금제대야 땅 가지고 담박 디니게 그 작업다 메리그치도 그때 싶고 가리나이를 나에 땅 가지고 대반 안 올라다 마셔기 챙기리 연바에 나가서 치게 메리글라니 디강라 디스 파 쉬고야디 개체부터 한다 아니 가지고 뉴욕 뉴저지 산에 표시된다기면이 만나 계제 두제질라 계제 들이 근데 우리 시샤주지 예슬라니 쉬어나 다 나랑은 다리 디 거가 마고 내 먹어 베토네 드링 담신한 게 마고에 벗어자 아니 드링 드리베 남발린 게 사mol로라 투체슬라니 쉬어인 가린치 소셰난주
Hello? Tom.
学的被没有当被扎定切到了黄水了当年也见包如果黄水了最别个被没有切到了黄水了当年个水里边面他们了不是点被当年地里俺个的这些出口去的选择中松这些些的因为呢说是给这就见呢这些些想就等你去面所以说三把有别这些的些古的他们了特别这边的这些怎么吃过有的这因的他们了俺个前面那等3年中都这个有的因为呢这些包如果让真的我前面呢农下进度所以说没给人这样给没去吃的有的这样有把这个人被没有的扎进去的嘞投资进那个当哪怕到让真投资进去几把进不钱呢这样去吃的有的头那个是什么就我们要进来那里可是可能个管理嘛这讲了呀俺了这些个对这来说的个体个说的这些包个开始说呢等于中的提领这些的你们他妈的到但怎么这些那个嘛来说这些的怎么样你个怎么的呢就是光线专业别干专业别你个你这个早你天马上因为呢可是真的顶把给今年了这些包那个让这那个管理面这东西这的第一个你的同学怎么样说了呀我呢肯定个升学去到别个来家到我呢肯定个如果这个升学关系个的确这样这些包如果那个管理面这东西就这两个这别怕什么东年节的两年节就这早年嘛的升学关系到别米路了来家的不同的这个干些出去多的这个米路这的就这个这是就晓得的将那工钱当给别弄了这边我听就是弄了的别的这面东西给退休了的人把这边来的就是得了定的别弄了别米莫不学去管理面这东西吧到这边是吧当如果来前面那样我呢天天给他今天定把自己了将那个听说吧米路听到陪着的就听几个多的你们这几个吧这几个中心个人来个呢将那弄了呀他别个这个就都国家我经常过当然人家赛季经过是呢别谁呀的都要他去忙不这边的因为呀别人就别人的是这边找你当土要嘛的当土没的说他将那兄弟数据3把钱的听3把钱说的多的别米路跟我到别米路给给到别米的这边说呀给这这这那这就这这这了呀前的怎么的这这把我那个了给过了面这当把得了地呢怎么你定价讲了呀别人讲了呀我这个差不多3把到别米真正的被别米被交给中间个这多在这里看了全都买不得的中国的天的怎么的天这这把我那个了给过了面这东西些这差不多的天的说这这把那个了前面呐米里头扎的那把到别让这个接着过了面这东西就得我做真正的要别把中间呢早年我就别把今年嘛的这这把那个过了面这赶紧到不的别米里头扎的别让这个到过了面这东西的听说可能给过了面这东不高兴面那的别家见面嘛了呀干嘛出个人了呀看进去听说这个过了面这东西就给你呢接着可能过了面这东不高兴面那的没出的面那的嘛早年嘛里边那这个这里进这个多啊这个干的电话了别米里头了呀升学要把当别米里头这点个推进什么了别把中年呢所说给他那说老当这个要把当啊个啊来这就来那个等这个米里头嘛这点过的听说第一个呢米里3把中呢真正的米里3把这里呀加他们做但你听有来说听的什么来俺们给里训的中出来呢这这包如果让这来呀跟着训让俺真正都了嘛的可以给来当小给米里头来当小让生来当小就在那做的那样我这个他妈这个嘛的我这解释别了呀让我嘛的吧解释我这别了让这嘛的吧解释别进来呢没不去进那个是中间那么接别了等着买去吧我这真正的没了3把的我这别把这都在基地里面全给老当小就早年我这个他妈这个嘛的是你这当家现在做天天怎么第一天配的这个真正的配的真正的没了中年呢年把的还过个记得呀这些把我那个了给让这那个了给干嘛出去看见一下就的说给他妈结果呢能下进度年过呀当哪怕到快个那东西早年我就他妈这嘛来学的可能给家送去的 Kicha tambut karala tananga cho pe nolo ya drami toto me bata chide ro me bata tanu chi ki ro me bata me ju cho karala na pe ki ron te chu bade tin ju te cho de pe ron te chu ba de tin nga chu ju jin de cha yo tin so ya kang ye te so se go go yin na pe ki ron te de ga ti la su chi bu re ti la su je le nga chu ni ba di ya de ya cha cha ta ma nga ti ni ba ga ji ni ya na ya je po lo ga la ke kuli me ta ton chan ju ki kama chinski ne zuta hakomure sosolia mebabi nang gojo tsani majete tindri detu yake nibata lajato senshung ngemi moto pi mirujre te indi somalia nemji jin nga tnon golia keja tosta mas ingo arte yemi na ya pi miruda tsadin tuyunde be chaga sum tosa chidi ton nga to hen godwa kuli meta ton tsaji chuze chaga chile ta zamani saja konza no lolia 도착 지리지는 가지고 김비죠. 김비제 뒤가리 된 거는 진조 노래 같은 거. 그쪽 딘조스 저거 돼. 돈도 예비나 이거 좀 미라 사바 예비나. 배 미르도 싸지. 뒤팀바지 매 봤어요. 쇼지래. 이게 제일 집이나. 배는 좀 pomo지 요래. 소셜 미디어 비제 제거. 야제바 올라가라. 굴리 메타 돈 사지. 까마 주절이야. 그런 인스타그램 노래야. 우마네 빼면 호스. 인제스레. 리기 지야기. Logo yo, pe no lo linja pe le tsingine. Yin ju tsama na tsinjo ne ju. Tsanga to pe ba tsingine. Do ta ji ri je bi na. Jana tsa ni nga tsi go ya ma ta. Jana nga tsi go tsa ni ya ma re. Nga chol ni ba di ya re. Nga chol jwa to tu go re. Kun ju ina ko lo chema tini ji me go re. Nga chol ki kan ni tun de che ba ko so. Do ta ji ri je bi na pe le ni ki ni ma sha be ki nga tsi nguri as ka tsi ngba ta to. Ka ji ja ko re as ju ya ta. Ta de de pe ke no no ya. 자제 파울로 갈래 가르친도 좋으면 소소 미 간사케 저기 담자트 가리는 소소 김문 하나 마시 파토 비 미르도 비자데 저도 제 내가 지야래 추신 팀부 여스 줘요 아 타마들 단된 거죠 kami nonya mo show jidu den to malanga ki engine ya chikashi chunde joso. So today I stand in front of China's consulate in New York, not to mourn but to honor and celebrate the ultimate sacrifices of my dear friend LOGA on July 2nd in front of United Nations headquarters. LOGA set himself on fire to amplify our resistance against China's brutal repression in Tibet and to demand independence for Tibet. To the Chinese government, I have a clear message that you have failed over 70 years. You have tried every critical, crucial steps and methods to erase Tibet, to eradicate Tibetan identity, and also to destroy our culture. But you cannot kill the spirit of Tibetan people inside Tibet. So LOGA's sacrifices has not broken us. It has united us. It's brought Tibetan together, never like before. And also it's lit a fire in the hearts of generations of both inside and outside of Tibet. So LOGA may not be with us physically, but he is in the hearts and souls of 7 million Tibetan people. To my dear friend, LOGA, I'm not broken by a loss. I'm proud to have known hero like you, and your courage has lit a fire in my heart that has never and ever extinguished. I promise you, LOGA, I will dedicate my life for Tibet until Tibet is free, until Dalai Lama is returned to home. Dear friend, we will meet in a free Tibet. Bijalo! Birotem! Birotem! Bichitapo! 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 Birotem! Birotem! Bichitapo! Bichitapo! Jarabutem! Jarabutem! Bijalo! 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 Not to deny Robiche. LOGA 가서 뒤나 주로 미제 다만 주야 뒤니가 주된 도에 집부터 미바 제시비 연장 마세 바도 전주 여비가 주든네 도자 지지 제부터네 자지보 로가라게 제진 자체가 대가 저기 라타제 신동 제진보래 다디들랑 비리지도 저바 옛날에 그 비밀 진도 인비나래 담바과게 시제 자신도 까마 투진데 제고 간디 초고야 베나 띠띠 두비나 저 띵띵아 저 생슈지 봐야 당가 저리야 띵띵 루루서 돼야 인도스 배치나 중국 디제 이나래 송주 디제 이나래 다는 시기 만초 디제 간디 되어나 담바과게 가진 자신도 까마 투디 인지민 때로 지수한다 미마 게임이나 저저 창조 tempa 제고 저리야 니데 주비나 띵띵아 저리야 생슈지다 니바트 땡그래셔 디제
이제 추세 공보스 관리야 선에 소소 선이 좀 소소기 거봐 좋지 근데 함께 지나오는 수수기도 돼야 인지게 돈에 traditional 야구도 세제 손서 내가 차지기도 돈도 근데 많던 전망에서 그게 돈에 충분히 남서 건강 비즈니스도 같이 계지기 돈이야 그거 이렇게 뭐 인베스먼트 하는 게 되듯이 같이 인지게 돈에 그쵸 My dear brothers and sisters, today as we gather here, I would firstly like to pay respects and honor the sacrifice of our brother, dear LOGA RANGZEN. As we know now, and as the world knows, a few days ago on July 2nd, outside the United Nations, LOGA RANGZEN made the ultimate sacrifice. He gave his life for the cause of our nation and our people. Today, as we protest here outside the Chinese consulate in New York City, we must honor his courage, his determination, and his unwavering love for Tibet. Self-immolation is not an act of despair, but an act of protest. Let me be clear. This highest form of non-violent action was a protest by LOGA against China's illegal occupation of Tibet and their policies to wipe out Tibetan language, Tibetan culture, and Tibetan identity. No Tibetan should ever have to sacrifice their life simply to be heard. So before we raise our voices here today at the Chinese consulate, let us take a moment to bow our heads to LOGA RANGZEN. Let us remember him. Let us honor him. Let us pray for him. I knew LOGA as a friend and as a brother, as a fellow activist. We came from different backgrounds. He was from Tibet, and I grew up in exile. I was born in exile. But the cause of Tibet brought us together. He was someone who carried Tibet in his heart every day. We stood together at rallies like this. We marched together. We planned campaigns together. In fact, just last December, on Human Rights Day, we organized a political rally, which was also his idea. He said we should do a car rally from Philadelphia to New York. He said he will arrange 113 cars to participate in that car rally in honor of His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama. And we started from Philadelphia and we ended at the United Nations, the site where we self-immolated. He would call me at odd hours, and we would speak about Tibet all the time. Loga was a warrior. He was a freedom fighter. And like so many of us, he never stopped believing. He never stopped hoping. He never stopped fighting. His love for Tibet was greater than his concern for himself. And that is why today hurts so deeply. Because I lost a friend and we lost a freedom warrior. Because this is no longer just another story. This is one of our own, a friend, a brother, a fellow Tibetan. And while our hearts are filled with grief, we cannot allow grief to become silence. Today we stand outside the Chinese consulate because we refuse to be silent and to ensure that Loga's sacrifice is heard loud and clear from the streets of New York to the walls of Beijing. Loga's message was clear. Like many of our martyrs who have self-immolated for Tibet, both inside Tibet and in exile, he called for the end of the illegal occupation of Tibet, and he called for freedom and independence for Tibet. In his final message, he thanked Tibetans inside Tibet. He acknowledged the blessings of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. He called for unity amongst Tibetans in exile. And he condemned China's policies to wipe out Tibetan culture and Tibetan language and Tibetan identity. He specifically chose July 2nd. He chose July 2nd because, as we all know, on July 1st, Chinese government has enacted the Ethnic Unity and Progress Law, which is basically another one of their policies to wipe out Tibetan identity. And on July 1st, all over the world, Tibetans and Tibet supporters had protested, and he took that opportunity and that time to send a message that Tibet's cause will never, ever die. Today inside Tibet, because of Chinese policies, children are being separated from their language. Our culture is being erased. Monasteries are facing increased restrictions. Communities struggle to preserve traditions that have survived for more than 1,000 years. The Chinese government's policies is not simply about controlling territory. It's about controlling memory. It's about controlling identity. It's about replacing one civilization with another. They believe that if they erase our language, they erase our future. If they erase our culture, they erase our identity. If they erase our history, they erase Tibet itself. But they have misunderstood one thing. You cannot erase a people whose identity lives in their hearts and in their minds. You cannot imprison an idea whose time has not ended. You cannot extinguish a nation whose people refuse to forget who they are. Tibet is more than just beautiful mountains. Tibet is more than just a place on a map. Tibet lives wherever Tibetans refuse to give up. Before Loga died, he left us something more valuable than words. He left us a responsibility. In his final message, he did not ask us to seek revenge. He did not ask us to hate, but he asked us to unite. Think about that for a moment. He asked us to unite. In his final moments, when he could have spoken only of his own pain, he chose to speak about our future. He reminded us that no matter where we live, whether we are here in North America or India or Nepal or Australia, Our struggle is one. Our people are one. Our future is one. So today I ask every Tibetan here, if someone should dedicate his final breath to unity, can we dedicate our lives to Tibet? Yes! Can we put Tibet before our differences? Yes! Can we choose service over ego? Yes! Can we choose community over division? Yes! Can we choose our nation before regionalism? Yes! Let us be honest. Let us be honest, because no government can defeat us more effectively than ourselves if we remain divided. Unity is not just a slogan. Unity is resistance. Unity is survival. Unity is hope. And hope is what keeps our struggle alive. Brother Loga, you have ignited hope in us. And the greatest respect we can offer is not only our prayers, but our commitment to continue the struggle for which he gave everything. Let us not let his sacrifice become just another tragic incident that we remember once a year. Let it be a turning point. If you are a student, study hard for Tibet. If you are an artist, create for Tibet. If you are a teacher, teach our language. If you are a parent, make sure you raise proud Tibetan children. And if you are an activist, you organize. If you are a friend and supporter of Tibet, keep speaking, keep writing, keep advocating, because every voice matters. Every generation matters. My friends, our brother Loga gave up his life. He gave up everything. Now that torch belongs to us. He has carried the torch as far as one person possibly could. So let us live here today.
I want you to think in your minds, I want you to chant with me. And when you leave this place today, when you go back home, think about it every day. Remind yourself that Na Prabhahi. Paul Rangzen Loga said these words, Na Prabhahi. He wasn't just simply describing himself. He was making a declaration. He was declaring that Tibet is a nation, that its independence was taken, that its people have been denied the right to govern its own land, protect its own language, faith, raise its own children, and determine its own future. To be Tibetan, especially in exile, is not only an identity, it is a responsibility. A responsibility to carry Tibet forward. A responsibility to speak for those inside Tibet, occupied Tibet, who can't speak freely. A responsibility to defend the rights of Tibetans to govern Tibet. We cannot allow the ultimate sacrifice of power, Rangzen Loga, ultimate sacrifice become a tragedy. The world moves on tomorrow. It cannot be a tragedy that just creates headlines before another crisis happens in the world. His sacrifice is a human cost of a nation under occupation.
It is a cost of people driven towards silence. It is a cost of an international community that continues to be silent and ignore the tragedy of Tibet. LOGA Rangzen made his final protest outside the United Nations headquarters next to our Tibetan flag, where he chose to stand matters. He stood before that one institute on this planet, that one address on this earth that claims to stand for dignity, equality, and self-determination of all people. An institution that promises that no nation should be denied the voice of its own future. He stood to show the world that they can no longer ignore Tibet. He was a witness to these world leaders that he made a declaration that they cannot deny. What kind of a world makes a man who escaped genocide, who spent his entire life speaking out for Tibet, even in the world's most free nation, to believe that even here his voice was not enough? LOGA Rangzen never disguised his politics to make people comfortable. He believed in Tibetan independence. He believed that only Tibetans have the right to govern Tibet. He never asked permission to believe that. He never softened its meaning, its message, so that it becomes easier for another person to hear. His self-immolation now brings the Tibetan self-immolation to 171. Each one is a life, a family, a story, a warning and an appeal to the world that refuses to hear. But we must make something clear. No more Tibetans should live like this. And out of the fire cannot come more death. What must rise from those ashes are Tibetans willing to give this movement, the Tibetan independence movement, their time, their discipline, their courage, their voice, and their freedom. LOGA Rangzen knew what was at stake. He did not spend his life just talking about Tibet or Tibet's future. He went out looking for young people who would carry it. He mentored them. He organized them, brought them into the Tibetan National Congress where he was the president. He believed this movement must not survive just on the memories of our ancestors. He believed that our movement should live in the courage of the new generation. So to all the young Tibetans listening today, he did not ask you just to support Tibet. He asked you to lead Tibet, to take Tibet forward. He asked you to learn the language, know our history, organize our community, and we refuse to be shamed because we are refugees and our lands are occupied. They see us all as Tibetans. If China can see us all as Tibetans, we must also act as Tibetans. In exile, we can debate our tactics. We can disagree on our strategy. But we can never, ever afford to forget who we are, what has been taken from us, and what we owe the generation still living under occupation in occupied Tibet. Inside occupied Tibet, saying Rangzen could get you imprisoned. It could even get you killed. But in exile, we should not be saying this softly. We should not be saying it quietly. We should not create segregation because of this word. This is not just a word. This is our birthright. Rangzen is our birthright. I am angry. I am hurt, but I am angry. I am angry that our siblings had to burn themselves so that the world can see them. I am angry that LOGA RANGZENS'S call for Rangzen is being softened by some people, even in exile as we speak, because the truth is inconvenient. I am angry that 170 Tibetans have done what he did, and the world's answer has been a moment of silence and then business as usual with Beijing. So don't let go of that anger. Don't swallow that anger. Use it. Take it home with you. Let you wake up every morning with this anger, and every day answer this question that he died and sacrificed his life, asking us, what will I do for Tibet's independence while I have the freedom to do it? What will I do for Tibet's independence while I still have the freedom to do it? I want you all to join me right now to say his name. LOGA RANGZEN Gyalo. 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 Remember this chant, and every time you step out, every time you look yourself in the mirror, every time you step out in any space, first you claim in your heart and say, Nak Prebahi, Nak Prebahi, and every Tibetan that is standing next to you, to your left, to your right, front, center, those are your siblings. Those are not your enemy. The enemy is there. Know your enemy, understand your enemy, fight that enemy. That was his wish. Because once you start understanding that you are a Tibetan, once you start processing, and once you start really believing that not Prebahi, you will not hurt, you will not say anything that would make another Tibetan hurt. Because as Tibetans, again, we have a responsibility, we have a duty. But before we get that, please, the appeal that came from power is never ever forget that the only way we can end the sufferings in occupied Tibet is fighting together for independence. Rangzen Gyalo. Rangzen Gyalo. Rangzen Gyalo. Break it up, po. Break it up, po. Na Prebahi. Na Prebahi. Na Prebahi.
내가 란젤레도 이 소소 인 우리 진이우리 날이야 인터넷에 도전한 수행이 근데 상마 구상도야 그래서 교배 최대 시인가 교배세 상마로 자자 우선이 그 단다 그래서 니도 다리 골때
For Tibet! Shame on Chinese government! Shame on Chinese government! Shame, shame, China, shame! Shame, shame, China, shame! LOGA simulated for Tibet! We want free Tibet! We want free Tibet! We want justice! We want justice! LOGA simulated for free Tibet! We want free Tibet! We want free Tibet! Right now, right now! Right now, right now! China out of Tibet 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 now! Learning Tibetan is not a crime! 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 Shame on Chinese government! Shame on Chinese government! Longsho, Pimito! Longsho, Pimito! Pekinala Rawame! Pekinala Rawame! Lengue, Rangze, Lengue! Longsho, Pimito! Longsho, Pimito! Maja, Simshu, Maja! Simshu, Maja! Peki Dakbo, Pemeye! Yama Pene, Take Donga! Longsho, Pimito! Lengue, Rangze, Lengue! Pekinala Rawame! Peki Dakbo, Pemeye! Yama Pene, Take Donga! Longsho, Pimito! Shame on Chinese government! Shame on Chinese government! Free Tibet, China out! Free Tibet, China out! Free Tibet, China out! Free Tibet, China out! China out of Tibet now! China out of Tibet now! Tibet for Tibetans! Tibet for Tibetans! Shame on Chinese government! Shame on Chinese government! Shame on Chinese government! Shame on Chinese government! China is guilty! China is guilty! Guilty of genocide! Guilty of genocide! Stop the genocide in Tibet! Stop the genocide in Tibet! Shame on Chinese government! Shame on Chinese government! Shame, China, shame! Shame, China, shame! Over 170 simulations for Tibet! Enough is enough! Enough is enough! China, enough! Over 170 simulations for Tibet! Enough is enough! China, enough! Enough is enough! China, enough! Enough is enough! China, enough! Over 170 simulations for Tibet! Enough is enough! China, enough! Enough is enough! China, enough! Enough is enough! China, enough! Shame on Chinese government! Shame on Chinese government! Ethnic unity law and progress law is the genocide! We are here to reject the Lamnara.